Good afternoon, family and friends. Today I'm going to do the video on some challenges that you might have moving to the Villages or maybe just moving to another state. Before I get to that, I do want to answer one of the viewers' questions that I had on a lifestyle visit. Someone asked me, what exactly is a lifestyle visit? So for anyone out there that's watching that might not know what a lifestyle visit is, you can contact the Villages and tell them that you are interested in a lifestyle visit, and they will set you up in a home. Usually it's a 3-bedroom home. They're really nice homes, completely furnished. They will give you a golf cart and 2 bicycles. They will also give you your own personal agent, and you can have as little or as much contact with that agent as you like. But what that agent is there for is to answer any of your questions, to show you around. Maybe you want to look at some open houses or some model homes. Maybe you've never been to the Villages before and you want to check out some of the town squares. That's what your agent is there for, to answer questions, to show you around. It's a really, really good deal. And I believe the time frame for that is 3 to 7 days. So you can do a 3-day lifestyle, or you can do all the way up to 7 days. And the price is extremely reasonable for what all you get. I believe they'll even throw in like a round of golf or something for you also. But depending on what time of year you visit and do your lifestyle, it can be anywhere from $100 a night, and that's in the lower season. So in the middle of the summer, you're going to get a cheaper rate. If you come during the busy season, it goes all the way up to like $200 a night. And then somewhere in between the seasons is usually around $150. So the price is anywhere from $100 to $200 a night. It's definitely worth it to do a lifestyle if you have any interest at all in the Villages and think that this might be something that you're interested in. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the challenges that I personally found moving to the Villages or just to another state. So the first challenge I'm going to talk about is just what to bring and how to get here. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sell all your furniture and buy new furniture when you get down here? Some people opt to do that. I find that furniture, if you have good furniture that's fairly new, it's expensive to buy new furniture. So for me, it was easier to just bring most of my furniture with me. But some people don't want to do that. They want to just get rid of everything and start all new. But that's something you need to think about is, what am I going to bring when I make this move? Am I going to bring my current furniture? Am I going to get all new furniture when I get here? So that's definitely something to think about. And the other part to moving is, how the heck are you going to get here? Again, there's multiple options. Some people will rent pods and bring their furniture down in pods. Other people will hire a moving company. Now, I have heard some nightmarish stories of people not getting all their items or waiting a long time for their items to arrive if they hire a moving company. So definitely, if you go that route, make sure that you read reviews, ask around, see if you can find other people that's used moving companies and what kind of experiences they had, because you really need to be careful out there with what moving companies that you might want to use. And the third item that you can do, and it's what we opted to do, was we actually just rented a U-Haul and drove it down ourselves. Now, it was a pretty big ordeal because we rented the biggest U-Haul that you can rent. We actually had one golf cart we was bringing to the Villages with us. So we rented an enclosed trailer to pull behind the U-Haul. And then I have a vehicle and my husband had a vehicle. So we basically had 3 vehicles we had to bring down here. So we had a friend ride down in the U-Haul with John, just so he would have someone to kind of help watch out when he had to change lanes. And then my oldest son drove my husband's van down for us. So that was extremely helpful. And then of course I drove my vehicle down. So that's something big, a challenge you need to think about is, how are you going to get here? Are you going to do a U-Haul? Are you going to hire movers? Are you going to do pods? None of it's cheap. All of it's additional cost. But I can tell you how much we paid. We rented a U-Haul for just under $3,600. Now that was the biggest U-Haul that they have that you can rent, plus a trailer to pull behind that. So that included both of those. When you go that route, they let you rent the U-Haul for 5 days. So they give you 5 days. And then also what we did, we didn't want to have to load it up ourselves and unload it ourselves. So if you go through U-Haul, you can actually hire movers on both ends. So you can go right through the U-Haul app and hire movers that will load your U-Haul up for you. And then once you get to the Villages, you can hire movers to unload the U-Haul for you. So if that's one reason why you're staying away from renting a truck, is because you don't want to load and unload, just remember that there is options. You can find somebody to do that. Or even if you don't want to go through the U-Haul app, I know for sure when you get down to the Villages, you can reach out and ask, does anybody know someone that can help unload a U-Haul? And there's people out there that will do that. And some of them have really good recommendations. So definitely that would be the first challenge, is moving. What are you going to bring and how are you going to get here? The second challenge to moving down here was the startup fees. There's things that you might not think about at the beginning. And what I did that really helped me was I created a spreadsheet and I listed everything I needed to do on that spreadsheet. And that way, if there was something that I didn't remember or I forgot, it might pop in my head a week later and I can go back into that spreadsheet and be like, oh yeah, I need to remember this. So some of the startup fees that I'm talking about is, if you're going to bring vehicles down here, you're going to need to get your vehicles registered. You're going to have to get a new driver's license. Those kind of items are additional cost. And if you've never been in Florida and had a car registered before, there's pretty costly startup fee. I know for us, we had 2 vehicles to register, and then we both got our Florida's driver's license, and that was a little over $850. So that was a pretty chunk of change there. So that's something else you have to think about when you're moving, is the startup cost. I will say that it was fairly easy to do. You can go to one place, get your tags, get your driver's license, even register to vote, all right there at the same time. You do need your vehicle there with you in the parking lot. So if you're bringing 2 vehicles to Florida, both of you will need to drive your vehicles to get them registered, because they physically come out to your car and look at your mileage. So the startup fees, remember that there's going to be some startup fees when you move to a new state. The other big challenge, and this one was a big one. And again, it's a lot to think about, but all the new services you're going to have to get. And what I'm talking about is doctor, dentist, vet, maybe a pet sitter if you have pets, even little stuff like a new hairstylist. There's a lot of different services out there that you need to think about, because you're going to have to find a new doctor and a new dentist at least. So the best way to do that, there's a couple ways. Again, word of mouth. Reach out to your neighbors. There's plenty of Facebook pages out there that the Villages has, where you can reach out and ask people, hey, who do you see for a doctor? Do you like them? Another thing that I did, because we still have traditional insurance because I'm still working, so I went to my insurance website and put in, the address of the Villages or where I live to see what doctors does my insurance, I have Cigna, what doctors does Cigna have in the Villages, and then you can kind of see how they're rated and where they're located, and then if they're accepting new patients. So word of mouth, and then definitely if you have an insurance where they have a website and you can kind of go in and look at the website. You can even call your insurance company and say, hey, I've moved to Florida and this is the area I'm living in. Can you give me a list of doctors that are accepting new patients? So that's definitely a challenge, is trying to find a doctor. And some of the doctors in the Villages that are part of the Villages Health don't always take some of the traditional insurances, and sometimes it's hard to find a doctor that's accepting new patients, or there might be a long wait, several months. If you're on any kind of medication at all, think about that. Can I wait 3 months to see a doctor, or is my prescription going to run out before then? Speaking of prescriptions, pharmacy. What pharmacy do you use? Do you use a local pharmacy where you're living at now? Will you need to find a new pharmacy once you move down here? Or are you using a regional pharmacy? With us, we use Walgreens, so it was a piece of cake. We just went to the closest Walgreens and got our prescriptions refilled. It was very easy. So, but that is definitely, for sure, remembering all those services. Plus, when you're in Florida, there's services that a lot of people use down here that most people don't use up north. Lawn care, that's a huge one. Many people hire a lawn service to mow their grass. We are not doing that. We bought our lawnmower with us. We're going to cut our own grass. Back home, it took us an hour and a half to mow our front and back yard because we had a pretty big yard. And here it's probably going to take us 30-35 minutes to do the front and back. So we really weren't concerned. We thought we would just go ahead and mow our own. But there's other services like fertilizing your lawn and weed control and pest control for your lawn. So those are extra services that, again, you'll need to look into. I will say one word of caution. If you happen to move in to a brand new home where everybody's moving in at the same time, you're going to have contractors show up right away and bombard you with services. Actually, we were told be careful because a lot of those could be scams. So your best bet, if you've never heard of them, just say either you're not interested or just, you know what, give me your card and I'll look into it later. I tend not to use contractors until I've done a little bit of research on them, Googled them, tried to find reviews before I just go ahead and use someone. So something else to think about. The other challenge for sure is, and this to me was the biggest and the hardest challenge, and that was missing my family and friends. My family is all really close. I have 3 adult children, and I have 5 grandchildren and 1 on the way. So we were a pretty close-knit family, and it's difficult knowing that I can't just pop over and, see them physically whenever I want. Same with friends. I had a group of friends that we always hung out with. We always did things with. And we no longer, have our friends around, which I know will make new friends, but, new friends is never going to replace your old friends. I remember way back when I was in Brownies, which is a miniature version of the Girl Scouts. We used to sing a song at the end of our Brownie meeting, and the lyrics was like, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. And that's kind of what it reminds me of. We're hoping to make more friends, new friends, but we'll never replace our old friends and the closeness that we had with our old friends. So that is a huge challenge. What am I doing to overcome that challenge? There's a couple things. One thing is, it's not that difficult to just jump on a plane and fly home. Since most people that are moving down here are either retired, so they don't have jobs, or maybe they're like me, where I have a job, but I work from home, so I can basically take my laptop anywhere and go back home. So what my plan is when I get to missing family too much, I'm just going to jump on a plane and fly home and, spend a long weekend with them. For the summertime, I'm planning on going home a whole month in the summer. And my plan is to just take my laptop, and then I can still work, even though I'm back home a month. I can still work while I'm back home. I keep calling it home, but I guess this is my home now. So that's one thing that you can do, is just look at your calendar, make plans to go back home, visit your family and your friends, invite them down here. Hey, look at your calendar. When are you guys free? When are you going to come down here and see us? Make sure that you reach out and let them know that the door's open, that they can come down here and visit you whenever they like. And another thing that I've done that has been very helpful for my grown children, I bought my 2 sons. My daughter already had one, but my 2 sons and then myself, we brought an Echo Show, and I'll try to insert a picture of what an Echo Show is for those of you that don't know. But it's basically like an Alexa device, but it's got a little screen on it, so you can, I can just say, Alexa, call my son, and it will call them, and then it'll bring up their picture, and then we can talk face to face, so that way I can talk to the whole entire family at once. I don't have to just talk to my son and then say, put my daughter-in-law on the phone and talk to her, and then, put my grandson on the phone. And I don't have to switch the phone off and on. I can see everybody at once and talk to everybody at once.
Did you mean son?
My Alexa's going crazy. Sorry about that. Alexa, cancel. So anyway, an Echo Show is a great advice to get if you have, maybe you have elderly parents, or you have, children, grandchildren. Get you an Echo Show, and then you can physically see them and talk to them. A lot of people do FaceTime on their phone. That's another option. You can do FaceTime. Definitely keep in touch. I try to call someone at least once a week. So that has definitely been a huge challenge because I was very close to my family and friends. Both of my parents are still alive and still healthy. So I've got a lot of family back home. And for sure that's a huge challenge. And then the last challenge that I'm going to talk about is meeting new people. Now, I have found that people that you meet are super nice. They're very friendly. I think moving into a neighborhood also where other people are also moving in at the same time could make it a bit easier because everyone's moving in at the same time, so everybody can talk, hey, where are you from? And, so everybody's on the same playing field, so to say. So that helps a little. Our neighborhood recreation center is not open. We're actually having a ribbon cutting ceremony Thursday. So I'm hoping to maybe film some of that and show you some of that. But I think once that gets open, that will also be easier to meet some of our neighbors or just people from the neighborhood. Because right now, you don't really get to get out and meet a whole lot of people from within the neighborhood. But I think once our recreational opens, I'll be able to meet neighbors at the pool and neighbors at the dog park, neighbors at pickleball or bocce ball, or just out and about. I think it'll be a little bit easier. Right now it's been a challenge because our recreational has not been open, but once it opens, I think it'll be a little bit more easier to meet people. Another way you can meet people is to put yourself out there, whether it's joining a club, joining a group. You'll meet people that way. When you go to golf, they will usually set you up with another couple to golf with, and then you can make conversation and meet people that way. So once you put yourself in a situation where you're around people to meet, it's really easy. It's really easy to, make conversation and, introduce yourself and tell people where you're from and find out where they're from and what village they're in. And so it's easy to meet new people. You just need to put yourself out there, get involved. If you just sit in your house all day, it might be a little bit challenging, but I don't think you'd be moving to the Villages if you were just planning on sitting in your home all day. I think the majority of people that move here want to live an active lifestyle, so they want to get out there. They want to meet people and make new friends. So meeting new people is a challenge, but it's not really a challenge if you just join groups, join clubs, and just get out and about, meet people, put yourself out there, make conversations. So that's what I have for you. Those were the challenges that I found with moving to the Villages or just to a new state. So if you could think of other challenges that you might have had moving to the Villages, or maybe you got some easier ways to overcome those challenges that I didn't meet, put them down in the comments. Other people might want to know that. Sharing information's always a good thing. So that's what I have today. We did go to the tree lighting ceremony at Brownwood on Saturday, and I did take some video on that, so I'm going to share a little bit of that. The Villages always has some kind of celebration going on for pretty much every single holiday. So this was our, I guess it was our second big one we went to. We did go to the Halloween thing they had. So, but I filmed this one, so I'll share a little bit of that. it was a fun time. Very crowded. There was a lot of people there, but it was a great time. So again, thanks for watching. For those of you that subscribed, thanks for subscribing. If there's any questions you have for me, put them in the comments and I'll try to answer them if I can. Thank you all. Have a great day.